Howdy, Rageaholic fans. Das Broom here. Today we're going to take a look at a game that many YouTubers have played. I'm going to just hop on here and test it out, see if it works. Alright, it looks like I am there. However, I need to shrink myself down a little bit, looks like. Alright. Today we're going to take a look at... Oh, it crashed. Today we're going to take a look at a game called The Beginner's Guide. I'm not going to go too far into depth into it to explain what the game is about, because I think it's pretty much self-explanatory as we go along. It's more of a narrative than it is an actual game per se, but it invokes a lot of thought, and that's why I want to actually get in and play it, because I've seen a couple of YouTubers play it, and I really like how the game looks and the general feel of it. So anyway, thank you for joining me today. Again, my name is Das Broom. We're going to go into this game, take a look, and I have Twitch over here up on my other screen. I'm not joined by any friends on Skype at all, just because, well, number one, they're busy. Number two, this will allow me to actually go into full depth into the game and whatnot. The game itself is only about an hour and a half long, so we're just going to go straight through, do the entire thing. And let's get started. Yes, audio is on. Alright, looks like we use the WASD controls.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
Also,
we're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Loading, November 2008. Hello. Is white. Hello. Okay.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
I feel like I'm running through the Enterprise. USS Enterprise.
You can click to fire the gun.
Oh, thank you. But there's no sound from the gun. Oh yeah, there it is.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Oh, there it is. Oh, it's on the door is on a timer. Okay. Ooh, that looks cool.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Looks like there's a blue blob over there, too. Yes, you can see the bottom of the universe. Can I go in there? Nope, can't go in there. Hello. 3 dots. Huh. Okay. Ah, cool! Alright.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it.
Wrong way.
Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, come on, I want to solve that! Damn it. I like solving mazes. Mazes are cool.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off,
I see all the
and then
warnings.
you get to the engine room.
Hello. Ooh.
Hey,
pretty light.
you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
Can I use a grenade?
It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Jawohl. Sure, why not? Zap. I like how the camera just immediately tilts to the side.
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh, you're gonna make me jump into the beam again. Awesome. Alright. Huh. Hey! Das is flying! Sweet! Whoa. Oh, come on. It wasn't that difficult of a maze. I couldn't figure that out.
And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse.
Can I have that as a background?
I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Hello. I can't move forward. I can look around, though. The past was behind her? Wait.
Yep. In this game, you can
Seriously?
only walk backwards.
You can't even do left or right. That's weird. Okay. Does anybody remember the screensavers from the original Windows? I think it was like 95 that had like the maze that would come up, and the computer during its screensaver mode would like walk itself through the different mazes. Or am I the only one?
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
It's not a quick thought though, because it's an actual really deep thought. Hello, can I walk off the path? No, I can only stay on the path. Oh, you are now entering. Entering what? There's nothing outside of my little light orb.
Okay. And that's it.
Bye.
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. December 2008.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Hello.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him.
Hello. And
I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do? I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
I like how it's interactive. Why are you over here? Oh wow. Yay, my page is up to 146 views on Twitch. Cool. It looks like my GTA 5 videos on YouTube are starting to catch on, so I might do a couple more videos on that, just goofing around and whatnot. I figured out how to change my Twitch channel a little bit, so I'll be able to actually do video calls, and CJ and anybody else who wants to join me on the video calls, I'll actually be able to put your faces on the stream itself. Alright, looks like we have to go up the steps. Well, let's go up the steps. And I'm slowing down. Why am I slowing down? Hey! Where are my feet?
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Slow as molasses. How did he say to go forward? Oh, there we go. Ooh, this looks cool. Huh. Stand on X staring at a bear for 3 hours. Live on a boat taking orders from the captain. The captain is always wrong. That's
room
cool.
That's warm and
you
nice
must address and rally a group of eager press
for
reporters.
games.
A stranger appears. You run a shop inside your own body, selling your organs
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
And concept art showing what the game is intended to be. A game where you collect items, except the game automatically quits when you collect them all. Oh, that would be so frustrating to completionists. Oh. Ready, set, fish. I hear water. Are we going fishing? Are we going fishing in a sewer? I will follow this orange line. It seems to be directing me where to go. An oak door on an otherwise stone. Okay.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
Door.
Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
It's dark in here. I can't see anything. Smoke effect is cool though. Alright, so there's no Oh. That's cool. Aha!
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
Oh, there's
we're gonna
3
see
dots again. Is that his calling card? There's a lot of games that if you pay attention, and game designers, if they design several games all in a row, will actually leave calling cards in each one. And I think that might be what the 3 dots are for. I mean, they're perfectly symmetrical. Like, one up, one down, one up again. Like a little face. Boop, doop, doop. Oh, there's no steps there. You actually have to fall down and you can't get back up again. Okay. So you constantly have to move forward in these games. You can't go back.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
So, why are you modifying this guy's games? Whoa! Dude!
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
Either way, I think that the point is the same. Is that most of the time, you don't get to know what you're missing. Or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
It was just a short blip on programmer's mind. He was goofing around. He was trying out new stuff. Oh, hello. But we can't actually go back along the path we were walking earlier. Is this a new one? Still can't walk out on the grass. You are now exiting. But what happened between entering and exiting?
Combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game.
I can jump here. Cool.
There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Now, game programmers, while some of them do have deeper meaning behind their games, most of them don't actually intend for their games to have deeper meaning, though. It's just them goofing around with different creative ideas that they have. That's interesting. There's a shadow right there, so you can actually see a hill go down. And over there, too. Interesting. Completely white, except for this.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Hello.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
But there are so many different
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making.
That's cool. I like the artwork.
You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
The artwork looks like it was added after this level was made. The texture pack is different. The textures are different. Looks like it was added to it. Hello. Door open. Hey, go into the bathroom. Hello. I guess that was supposed to be a sink. Oh. I can open and close doors. Okay. And the thing is that certain developers have engine preferences. Like, you don't have to be all around one engine. There's a variety of engines out there, or you can develop your own that you can work with. If he creates levels with corridors, well, maybe that's what he likes doing. He likes going from point to point or wrapping corridors around themselves just so he can, and I was trying to hold the shift there to keep from falling off, just so he can keep moving forward or going out through a path. Ooh, this is cool. This would be even more awesome if these blocks had textures on them. Okay. Once again, I don't have feet. Or body, for that matter. No! I missed! Okay. I took no falling damage. Okay. We go down. And down, and down. And down, and down, and... Are we back outside? Hello? Anyone here? This is cool. I like this. This reminds me of the first PC game that I ever played was a game called Myst. That game was cool. Cattle chutes. Okay. What's with the bass track all of a sudden? Okay. Oh. And go. Oh, I can't jump off. I have to go inside that cell. Well, that's no fun. Bars there.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
A full hour? Most games, though, there's a meaning behind that hour, though. So if this was a prison game...
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
No. Because not all games are designed to be playable, though. Most games are just... Think of it as an artist. An artist isn't going to create a perfect piece of art every time they sit down. There's going to be sketches. There's going to be unfinished pieces of artwork that they're never going to actually go back to because they're playing around with different ideas, different creative ideas in their mind. I mean, there's going to be a lot of artwork out there that isn't fully published that nobody's going to know about until they find the manifestos somewhere. The same thing goes with game programming. Not all games are going to be playable, only those that the game developer himself thinks is going to be playable. And we are our own worst critics, after all. So there are many games that haven't been fully published. It's interesting that there's glass right here. Oh, there's a swing there. I still haven't found the 3 dots on this level yet. I probably looked right at him and I didn't see him, but I haven't seen him yet. Oh, speaking of which, there they are! Calling card. And they haven't changed at all. It's still just 3 perfectly symmetrical circles. I like this. Clouds aren't moving though. All that was stored inside that building. Huh. Oh. You only see the facade of the building. I'm actually looking around the side of it. You can't actually see the rest of the building. Still, that's how most of these games work.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
It's not really a puzzle, it's a door. It's a door. It's signifying going from one area to the next area without the chance of going back, because once you hit that switch, the door closes. There's no way of going back.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
I just said my interpretation. It's like ledges in a game that block your way back to where you came from. It's a way for you not to be able to backtrack. Go back to where you were coming from. Go back to who you were. Is how I look at these games. I look at them from a mental point of view. Hello. Listen. Oh, I suppose I have to listen to you now. Ooh, fireplace. Hello.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
You there, did you come up from up above? What was up there? Yes, the world was stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. Let's go with the enormous prison. That's the world above! You've been there! Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, that was literally the last thing I did before coming here. Prefer not to tell you, after all, we've only just met? Wow, that's sort of dickish. Again, perfect! Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. You can't get to the other side from this side, because if you hit that switch, you're only opening up the door behind you. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. Let's go with 3. All you're gonna be is locked in a prison for hours. Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It is the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you. There is? Oh. Okay. Now, one thing that just caught my eye here, I don't know how the other 3 guys were sitting, but now 2 of them have hands across their chests, which signifies that they are very defensive. And the one in the middle there is actually slouched backwards, like he doesn't want to fully listen. How did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Yes. Yeah, I remember commenting about it, the black space in between. I remember feeling strange as I passed through it. Don't think too hard about it? But you were just commenting about liking it. Wait, what? Also, their skin textures are checkerboard. Interesting. Okay. So we found the 3 dots on this level.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
I don't know, oftentimes in these older types of games, there's a black space in the wall. CJ... Oops. Wrong button. My bad. Give me one quick moment. Back to this. Sorry about that. Alright, so... we went down a spiral staircase, down to the bottom. I like the lighting effects. And the sound changes. Black walls. Lamppost. Hello. But that's...
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something.
Also, the
lamppost... He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
To me, this lamppost doesn't actually fit, though. Because it's 4 sides actually looking into it. And it looks like the lamppost was actually, like, forced there in a way. I don't know. I could be overthinking it. Just, to me, the lamppost doesn't seem to fit. This looks familiar. I still don't have a body. Outside. Hello. Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
Off the edge?
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me.
Hello.
And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Hey.
Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
I did. I'm king of the world.
But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work.
Holy crap.
I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much. Is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
I would like it when I could. Do you feel like a hero yet? In a world of notes, one man will read all of them. This summer you will believe blue speech bubbles can talk. Cool cavern, bro. We're running out of space. Soon we will suffocate. There are too many messages in this area. Why? Hey, I can type here. The guy over there wrote much wrong. I'd rather be doing literally anything than playing this. Now, what he was saying is that all of these speech bubbles is actually the programmer, not anybody from the internet writing all of these. So, these are all just things that he thinks people would actually say about the level. Shit, this is scary. Boring. I can assure you, guarantee that there is an acorn somewhere here in this place, and the sailors are looking for it. I mean, like I said earlier, we are our own worst critics, so maybe all of these talk bubbles was him just walking through the level trying to figure out ways to improve on it. So he was just writing down all of these thoughts that were coming to his mind. Butt-ass butt. To the freaking bathroom. Recognize me, please. Wow, that one was sad. I can't actually go to those over there. There's nothing here. Go back. Don't listen. Don't listen to that guy. A free t-shirt. Need other side. Door, why you so? Door, how open? Open says me. Makes game, includes door. Cannot open door, thanks. Oh no. Probably just another texture he's playing around with. Someday I'll meet the person who made this. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. Thank you! Somebody got it right. Yay! Also, doors that you can't open in games usually do open once you figure out what the hidden switch is, a way to open up the door, which again has that metaphysical effect to it, or that psychological effect to it. Ooh, that's cool. That doors remain closed until a specific event happens in order for that door or opportunity opens up. New room! Do you hear the chimes? They keep going, don't they? Yes, I do hear the chimes. like very much to be desired. It's not very crowded here. Scared of writing something, don't want to feel judged. Been there. Game where you leave notes and suddenly everyone's a poet. Don't bother. You can go in here, I think. Welcome! Congratulations! I don't really know where to go with this. Oh, there's no notes down there on that one. This is where I get off. I failed to write anything here. I am compelled. Wait, that's an oxymoron, because he did write something there. Stop! Turn back. Proceeding further will only result in misery. Take my hand. Let's jump together. Jump. Jump. There is 2 bubbles down there. But you can't actually... Well, you can jump. You're locked to the path again. Cabbage shapes our nation. My cabbages! What is that painting? Yeah, what is that painting? Does not matter if you ever get over there. Hey, don't talk about me that way. Very good game. Oh, there we go. There was a positive remark. I think I'm this is not going anywhere? That doesn't make any sense. Next time I will do better. I need someone to talk to. Ouch, going sad again. This is a note? Question mark. Don't listen to the other notes. Oh, hello. There's lights down here. Okay. I am not safe. Today I learned you cannot fall off. Ethical. Yes, you cannot fall off. Again, there's no notes down there. I saw a person walking down there. Now it won't come back. There's no person down there. Also, there's like faint whispers. Devil Tower Star. Well done, all of you. Whoever made this has issues? Painting, what does it mean? Stop faking it. To me, it looks like a painting of blobs of different colors. I mean, you can look at it either way you want to, but like the representation of the different colors. There's an awful lot of blues and purples in it, though. Mixing with red. Hurt. Hey guys, how's it? Just hanging. Help, I'm trying to speak. I think about how things look messy from up close and perfect from far away. Actually, that's kind of true. From up here, it looks just like dots. Yeah, it does, because when you're farther back from it, it actually looks like things with artwork. It depends on what your perspective is when you're looking at it. Like when I was up there, it actually looked kind of cool to look at, but when you're up close to it, it's just a blob. It's chaos. Now I'm starting to see a lot more white now that I'm concentrating on it. I'm seeing like the white and the dark spots splattered into it now. Interesting. We will all die someday. Stop pretending you are other people. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. Stop pretending you are other people. Cabbage shapes our nation. Devil Tower Star. That's the second time I've seen that one. It's about how this game is pretentious and you all suck. Maybe I'll feel real someday. He was himself the most horrible creature he could imagine. Yeah, we are our own monsters. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. Must be a reason for it, though. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game!
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Didn't I say that? Great, the voices have started again. I have seen everything. I have traveled the world. I have never told anyone. I wish there were notes in the real world. Oh man, the world will so become one with spiraling nonsense. The world will just be so crammed with notes, downward.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
I didn't see any of the 3 dots this time. Unless you count all the individual notes. Puzzle have a solution. OMG, I've been here literally for an hour. What the fuck do I do? Help, help, help. Does it make any sense? The second door will open. How do you solve it? Developer, answers please. Alright.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Wait. Yeah, the door actually doesn't open ever again. Huh. All these voices. Hello. The voices stop. Now there's typewriters everywhere. How do you read notes? See, here again, that lamppost doesn't... That lamppost was forced there. It's not even... Actually, now it's not even symmetrical. It was just placed there in one spot. The time has come. The time has come. The time has come. Wait, are you there? Please say something. Can't be anything. Speak, 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 speak. Actually, as far as game development goes, it was a while until they developed a way for the actual player to talk in the game.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Well, cloudy outside. I actually like how that looks. Can't go outside though. Artwork. Here again, the artwork has a different texture to it. Much more realistic than the rest of the room is. Hello. Well, this is nice, warm, and vibrant. I like this feel. This feels cool. Has like that modern housing decoration feel to it. What's with the grass and gravel?
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it.
Wait.
You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture.
You ended at the well.
And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
You ended at the bottom of the well. You ended out there. Furniture ought to go in the center of the room. Like the center? Refrigerator, TV with surround sound, giant hole in the ground. Let's go with giant hole in the ground. You put a table there. Huge picture of a horse, washing machine, 10 stoves lined up. A horse. Couches. Doesn't really matter what I say, does it? A skylight, full ceiling window. Recessed soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. Let's put live Tesla corners in each corner. Yeah! Tesla coils. Just because. Nope. And a table. You need a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? I'm pretty sure none of the choices are making any difference. Tables were invented in 1935. Were they? I don't know. Who are you? Yeah, table goes there anyway. Whoa!
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
No, it's a maze.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different
You can't do that to me! You can't put a maze in front of me and not do anything about it. Please walk forward. Okay. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Any? Follow the instructions carefully. Take care to remember each step. First, click on this table. Oh, there's the 3 dots. Okay. Photo frame. Mindless tasks to get a solution? Turn the floor lamp on this room off. Turn it back on. Click. Click. Left side sofa, move it over a little. All we're doing is skewing everything. Touch the shelves. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Well, I sort of have to go there because there's nothing else. Well, now there's a platform here. Return.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Interesting.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more.
Whoa!
I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go,
the door?
Maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on. But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral.
Except we're
and
upside
so it
down.
keeps going and going and going and going and going. And then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
No, because up until now, he's been working with prisons. He's been working with these labyrinth ideas up until now. And it's only now that he's met Davy, and Davy's giving him all these, like, games are meant to be played ideas, that now Coda has to try and make games where the labyrinths aren't there, but the labyrinths are there, kind of thing. I mean, the labyrinths are always going to be there. There's always going to be puzzles for you to solve. I mean, take a look at this, for instance. See if I can hop up. No. Yeah, because the labyrinth was here, and then he got rid of it. This was going to be a hedge maze. But now it was removed, and just the path leading inwards is there. As well as a phone booth? Hello. Here again. The lamppost is here, but it has a different texture to it. Hello? Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you after you escaped the prison. Yep, I was in the furniture maze. Yep, I was in the escape tutorial.
And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Yeah, because that's what most creators do. That's their way of pushing themselves through to the next creative outlet. Completely still and wildly in motion at the same time. Do you feel any different? Scared to get out and things will be exactly the same as before. Wow, you have no idea. Well, I'm really the same person I was. No, it's not awful. Get something else in exchange. Means that you don't actually know who you are right now. Well, if you're me, then did you get a call from another person of you when you were trapped? Well, I think the first person to call back, yes, I did get a call, that's how I escaped. All you have to do is be sincere. To get out, you need to tell me how much you feel right now. To get out, just talk with me for a bit. Yes. How does that work? Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Just be sincere. It will make sense. Sincere about what? That's exactly what you need to figure out in order to escape. Oh, and that's it.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
It is nice. It is very nice. It takes like a load off your shoulders, sort of.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Wind. Snow. There's a path.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Snow dampened sound. Trees are dead.
Just so you're aware, nothing will happen up here until you've been inside the house.
Yeah. I like exploring. Alright, well, there is no switch here. Okay. Whee! Can we slide down the hill? Nope. Once again, I don't have feet. It's really unnerving to be able to walk around a level and not actually have a physical body. Wow, that's a cool house. Why am I locked inside? Hello. What is it? Music again. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy
You'll notice
homes.
that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
This whole place. promise you'll wish there was more? Not really. Run into the bedroom and make the bed. Do I have to? I mean, this is kind of what games really are. It's like just mindless tasks going around in endless circles until the pathway is opened up. Like it's a timetable. There we go. Wouldn't let me click on it. Interesting is that this room is angled. Like I first took notice to it because the carpet wasn't lined up right. But the entire room is angled weird. Oh, hang on. All the details matter. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? How do you end up with this job? It's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy. Well, no, my house was like that. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Sense of calm when you clean things. Like cleaning things helps you clear your mind. Are you sure it wasn't you that spilled the drink? I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Especially cheesy. Yeah, I'll try to get by. Do you absolutely have to? Those aren't the right answers. Let's go with one. Not everything is cheesy. Yeah, I'm just running around in circles, waiting for the next one to open up. Why am I doing all this work for you? You should be doing this too. I usually read the titles of some of these.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Do these chores ever end? Yeah. Whatever work you do, you absolutely got to own it. Didn't I say that in my last vlog? Or a couple of vlogs ago?
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Oh yeah, playing this game will do that. I mean, it seems like endless, mindless tasks, but it eases the mind. Outside of the fact that I'm not sure why the tub would be dirty again, or why all those dishes are over there. If nobody else is here. Yeah. One's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you. It's a weird thing to say to someone you just met. Yeah, it's pretty cheesy, but there's a bit of truth in it. No reply back. Interesting.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace. course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Yes, but it seems like the game ends abruptly with that last question. The last question was, do you enjoy this? That's interesting. I can walk out of the house through what was the windows. The barriers are gone. See, that's... To me, it's like the game completely changed. Like, something from this point on was added to that game. If it was a game to begin with. The program, it was added to the program for the door to open. And all that's over here on the other side
Which
is
the
this
whole point of the
lamppost.
puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Keyword in there was.
This one gets a bit goofy.
Hello. There's nobody else in this lecture. Excuse me, Professor. Why am I sitting here? Oh, nobody can be perfect. No, you can be a better human being. Can't be perfect, though. It's interesting. We're moving around chairs, getting closer to the professor.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
Hello! Chaos! Interesting.
And you play as the teacher.
Elderly
Suddenly,
person
you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
All he's doing is talking in circles. He's not actually saying anything. Well, he's saying that it's effortless to be perfect. Also, all the other answers are grayed out. Only the right one is actually highlighted in yellow, the same color as the text he has been talking in. What is easiest and simplest path forward? No. Sometimes it is, not all the time. There is no truth, there is no path. Wow. Do what is easiest, do what is simplest, feel what is true? That's not right. None of these answers are right.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Yeah, because going back to the relationship between Davy and Coda, Davy was completely infatuated with Coda being able to create
This one took a lot longer than all the
games.
others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Hello, backstage. Whoa. Can I go up the ladder? Hey. 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 Why I no can use ladder? Okay. Alright, so my character apparently can't climb. I still don't have a body or feet. I guess feet would be counted as body, huh? Hop. 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 There's nothing else here. Okay. The sound of my footsteps changed, though. Whoa! Hello! What performance? Ooh, shiny lights. Let's start out leaning against this wall. Okay. As professional photographer of animals. Yes! It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. It's one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on. Say something to her. Where is the bathroom? Sorry, I have to leave. Hello? Hello? No, it's a conversation starter. Do it again. Do what again? Do I have to go back to the wall? You're all my hopes and dreams. I like you. I'm super scared right now. I like you. Completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident, but none of those answers were that. Give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will be represented as people nearby. I'll talk to her again. Oh. Different musical tones. Must have worked really hard to get where you are. I'll bet you learned to lean into the pain. What are some sacrifices you had to make? Must have worked really hard to get where you were. What? That was the most right answer out of all of them. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage? No! That's wrong! You can't actually step off the stage either. No, I gave all the right answers. As right as those answers were. There's the lamppost. So what? What? Is this like to signify that you've been locked out of that one opportunity? So why isn't it ending? Does that mean you actually have to... What?
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
To me, that was just signifying the fact that that one opportunity closed off. Like, he wanted to be a professional photographer and screwed up the whoever it was that he was going to try and meet. He screwed that up, but because of that, he became a game developer. And if that light post that was there, that popped up out of nowhere, if that was his goal, then he had to move past that. He was still moving forward, even though the doors were closing behind him that had led up to that point. Click to begin the game. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Oh, click the game to begin. My bad. What's going on? Oh, truth. Hello. Door! 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 I'm bursting creative. No. That isn't truthful. No! Okay. Apparently I have to go up to truth. Hey, look. Lamppost again.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
The only way to stop it is to speak to something that is honest. I can't keep making these. My work is always fun. I can't keep making these. Is he talking about making games that aren't a maze?
Like I said, I was getting concerned.
First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing.
I'm alone. I'm stuck.
Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
I'm stuck in it. We're going to be okay. The 3 dots weren't there. That's why I was looking around looking for them.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Desperate or forced? Hello? Where am I? What is this? Hello? Oh! This is nice. Hello? Is anyone there? Hello? Is that a person? Oh, lovely! It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. Completely out of ideas. When I try to create, I feel empty. I have nothing left to work. Completely out of ideas. How are these trees? It's like life that is springing up from nothing. Oh no! What's happened? Did something change? Though the path is erasing behind me. There was a machine that kept me going, and it stopped. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. Going metaphysical with this one. Your creative idea is a machine, I guess? Question mark? Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. What? You have to take it to me now. I need to see it to know why it stopped. We're on a beach? Water. Renewal. Life. Sorry, it's talking about random thoughts that are popping in my head with those sounds.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even, and yet still he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
It was for you, Davey. He was creating games mindlessly as an outlet for you, and once he met you and you being so eager about his creativity, started creating games for you, but then it stopped being an outlet for him. I'm talking out loud to myself now.
Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
First you have to close the door, first you have to open the door, first you press the switch on the inside, and first you have to open the door. Now what? Now you have to close the first door. Now you have to open the first door. Now you have to press the switch on the inside. Well, now you have to close the first door. I didn't go through. Whoops. Alright, you open up the door. The smoke is different. It's white smoke, not black smoke. Okay, now you have to close the first door. There we go. Close the first door. Now you open the first door. Now just press the switch there. That was so simple.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Davey's demeanor is changing throughout all of this. He's becoming more panicked. Hello? That's all my answers. What are you talking about? There's a machine here. There's just some... What are you talking about? Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous, that you love it 100% of the time. Fun and easy. What? Why did I feel so awful when I said that? But it wasn't true. Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. Make games, I feel completely energized. I am constantly excited and enthusiastic about my work. It is easy. It never stops being easy. These are all answers from the previous games.
Really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Just never stop creating. You'll never feel bad.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
This is interesting, because all these answers, if you look back at the game level where you were on the stage, with all those walls that were coming down, all these answers that you're forcing yourself to say would be another wall coming down, forcing yourself to keep going forward, to keep creating games. All these are answers that you have.
This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. It never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
She's in the labyrinth.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
The person that you called on the phone said that they were still locked in the prison, but you got out. Huh. Very interesting. Hello, guard. Why are you guarding the puzzle? Ma'am, I'm glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quick. I intend to be quiet. I intend to be brutal. Brutal. Alright, let's go be... No! I said quick, not quiet. Alright. Someone called the press, so might have a bit of attention on this one. The machine called itself Coda? So wait, we're playing as Davy in the relationship?
And of course, it's the machine.
Stop treating us. Your work was keeping us alive. Your work was keeping us healthy. No, your work was keeping us alive. There's people out there. Imagine what pain you put them through. It's only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? Go with the second answer again. You need to go out there to people to apologize. You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. She can't move though. Wow, this place is tall. See anything you fear? No, nothing. Alright, I will speak to them for you. Wait, what? Really? My friends, my followers, my friends. Follows on me to deliver bad news. I have a troubling revelation. Machine will not apologize to us. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. None of these are right. Denial. My thoughts. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We'll find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it we are not failures. Destroy creativity. Destroy the things that were created. That's not right. Wow, this got dark really quick. If you... Creativity comes back. If you... Where's the machine? What? Seriously? Why? No way.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
No. Because these works... Artists are very personal with their works. It's an extension of themselves. If they open up to you about them, that's because they trust you. They can open up a piece of themselves and show it up to you. Oops, I fell.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes,
falling.
The house cleaning game, and some of the prison
I
escape
was supposed to fall.
I brought them to people that I knew and trusted.
I'm
I
horrible
asked
with
their
the
opinions.
shooting. I don't want to shoot.
And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all is just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
I can't look. I can't move away. Why? This got really dark. Because that lamppost is there too.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need. To be told that my work is good. That I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute
best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
You can't do that, though.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
People create things out of different reasons, whether it's an outlet for them, whether or not other people can then play it. There's definite line. And I see where this is going, obviously because I watched other videos on this, but I wanted to actually play through it, and it's a very different feeling. Because, to me, Davey, the narrator, betrayed that sense of trust. Coda trusted him with those games that obviously Coda really didn't have any... Or Coda had definitive
and this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Davey betrayed that sense of trust that Coda had in him. Because like Davey said at the beginning of the game, Coda was putting all these games into the recycled files folder because all of these were just games that Coda was goofing around with. These are games that he created out of a sense of necessity in order to get thoughts out of his head and onto something tangible, like that room that was in the tower that you had to walk up the stairs to, or the notes that were in that cavern. Those were all voices that he had to get out and put onto paper. It wasn't distress signals, it was actually a sign of a healthy mind. He saw himself.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Okay. I guess I can kind of see it in the pixelation. Hello.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
3 walls in front of you.
But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
No, because this was a private game just for Davey. There's no way across it. There's the crying girl again. This game was specifically for Davey. All of those barriers there's probably 1 pixel that doesn't have a barrier on it all the way through.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end.
See?
But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
To block people from actually finding... It's the same idea as the slow stairs going up to the room. You have to... It's a sense of trust. People put up barriers. When you get to know new people, some people actually put up barriers or facades that will actually block you from actually knowing who the real person is. It's a sense of trust. That's what those invisible barriers were, was the trust.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time.
Oh, well, actually,
if I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Wow, that is a really random... No. 15, 16, 17. It's not really a random number. Oops, wrong way. And the sounds in the background aren't new ones. They're recycled ones from previous games. There it goes. Now it let me pull the lever. Here again, the entire time you're playing through this game and Davy is narrating, you're seeing things through Davy's eyes. He's leading you in a particular direction, just like storytellers do. And then it's up to you to...
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't
because if Coda's on the other side of the door, the first 2 puzzles
I can open this door for you,
to
so let me do that.
prove your trust to him. So if Coda's on the other side of the door, he's the one actually opening up the door for you. Wow, that's a good distance away from the door, too. So even if it was right here, you couldn't actually glitch it out.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011, I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Some games are just created because of the fact that they are personal thoughts. They are an outlet, and in those outlets, there's no real meaning behind them other than the fact that it's a thought process. It's interesting, there's color there. It's not really random, but...
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
That's the reason why I play games. Is that we are able to create a better version of ourselves, to solve puzzles, to work our way through problems or escape from reality for a while. That way we can go back and solve the problems that we need to.
Where did I screw up?
You screwed up when you shared his games, his personal thoughts.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
Still has that modern feel.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
It's the games after the Labyrinth. After he stops doing the Labyrinth games, they take on a specific feel, and the lampposts actually start showing up.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
See? Stop taking my games and showing them people against my wishes. The one boundary that keeps me safe. Stop adding lampposts.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
Need something, I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Yeah, just part of the creative process. There's ups and downs the entire way. Yeah. Just yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. Do hope that one day it clicks, that you make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
You finally see what I am talking about. Don't say anything? Wait, what? When you finally see what I am talking about, don't say anything? There's no sound to the door. And the smoke has gone back to black. There's no switch.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Thoughts closing in on themselves. Wait, that's it? No. Hello, Sky. Subway? TV. Can I turn TV?
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Well, that door is different over there, so in the manner of games, I think we need to go to that one.
Solution.
Is that wind or is that rain?
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
There we go. What I was saying all along. Or trying to. If people change, they need to change on their own. Creative whims. Some people are just good at what they do. We shouldn't change that just because we have one feeling one way or another.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
I guess we have to go in this room. Hello. What is this? Is it sand? Darkness? Hello? This doesn't look great at all. Just follow the lights.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
We need validation in order to know that what we are doing is right. That other people feel the same way. That way we don't feel like we are a loose top spinning for our own enjoyment out in the middle of nowhere. Like, we actually have to belong to a bigger picture and seek out other people who find that our work is all right.
What now?
Back to the straight paths again.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Okay, what? A lot that I have to make up for? We're back to the first level. Sandbox. With random splashes of color. They're black, but they're still color. And sorry, yes, I am picking this apart as I go, because I find this interesting. Because oops, I fell down. This is way back when popular games, quote unquote, or before the time of popular games, quote unquote, there were games that were created by creators that weren't actually, quote unquote, playable. They were created for the creator to just go through because it was a way for them to soothingly work through whatever problems was ailing them at that point in time. Do I have to jump in the well? Apparently so. Hello? Is this on a timer? I have to time this jump. And when Coda shared those files with Davey, it wasn't necessarily for the fact that he was depressed and he was trying to attach him or trying to call out for help sort of deal. Oh, no, the elevator stopped. It was a way for him to show off his creative flair. But Davey was trying to draw the lines. He was trying to find solutions to something that necessarily wasn't a problem to be solved. At least from Coda's point of view. And that's what this game is about. It's about different perspectives. Like, Davey thought Coda was this, like, depressed individual for making all these Labyrinth games. And there's there's the beam of light at the end. When, in fact, the Coda was just making Labyrinth games just because that's what he was really good at making. With the engine that he found an attachment to. I hear a storm, but there's no clouds. I don't know. I really like this, and it, like I said before at the beginning of this stream, it's not really a game per se as it is a walkthrough. But it begs into question of, like, why do players play games? And at the same time, why do creators create games? And they don't always line up. Or the games that creators do create that do line up, us players don't actually see the true person behind it. They see the perfect They see what the creator wants them to see. Also, there were no 3 dots. Hello? Did my game crash again? No. Oh, wow. I love this music. Now there are clouds. Can I move? No. I'm just moving upwards, looking at the endless maze. And, like, you can draw whatever you want to from this, but to me, I really like this because it calls into question a lot of, for me, why we play games. Do we use it as an escape? Do we use it to create a better version of ourselves? To solve whatever issues we're having? I mean, why is it that we do feel an attachment to games? Can I skip this?
Turn back from this cave.
Apparently not.
You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going.
I don't know. I'm a great spinner of words, and I can't actually get my thoughts together in order to coherently spin what it is that I actually get out of this game. And that's why I wanted to play it. It's the fact that it's...
But I know that you're strong. So turn back.
I don't know.
Turn back.
The song is saying turn back. But if we constantly live with who we were, we'll never move forward to who we could be. I don't know. I really hope you guys found this interesting. If you did find it interesting and you like what I do here on the channel, feel free to subscribe and like the video. Follow me as I play through different games, because I do play through different games. I play GTA, blow stuff up kind of deal, because that's what I find interesting about games, is that they are there for us to deal with problems. They are there for us as a source of outlet. And I do thank game developers for putting games out there like that, and those creative souls that do work their way through whatever it is that they have to work through in order to create games. Because I don't know, I will never be a game creator. I really can't. I really like storylines, and at one point in time I was a good storyline creator. I was able to create characters completely from scratch and have their own storylines, sort of deal. But I find more enjoyment out of being able to play games and create my own character in those worlds. Because yes, there is always something wrong with us. There is no perfect human being. We all have our flaws and our edges, and that's what makes us human. And yes, this wasn't a game per se, as it was a walkthrough or a storyline that you had some choices to make there in the middle. And that was interesting there at the end, where you were breaking down the walls and seeing all of those answers up on the wall that you answered or could answer from at one point in time in the game, because it gave you that sense of actually being the one pulling the trigger and destroying everything of that person, of that creator. And I felt really bad going through that and doing all that and shooting all of those works because they were really good. And like I said, the very first game that I ever played was Myst, and way back when it came out, and the graphics in that game for the time period was really, really immersive. And the game itself, as far as I can remember, was one massive puzzle that you had to solve as you were walking your way through this island. It was up to you to come up with the solutions. And I held on to that idea as the years progressed, and I went from Myst to the NES to the Super NES and going on up. I really like puzzle games because puzzles, to me, puzzles are a way for us to step by step work through whatever issues that we may be having. Finding those solutions, going through the beginner's guide, Davey was always there giving you the solutions. He was always giving you that next step. He was giving you the cheat to actually see through the game, see what the game was. And sometimes that's what we need in order to work our way through problems. Why we call out to people, why we make friends, why when we are playing games we make friends. It's because we have that middle ground, we need to find that solution. We need to find that solution for our better self to work our way through whatever problems we need to. And that's what makes us human, is that we need to feel like we are doing something right. And we never truly know if we are doing something right until somebody tells us. Anyway, that's what I got from this game, and I really enjoyed it. If you like it, go ahead and play through it. Like I said, it's on Steam. I think it was like $10, or at least that's what the price was when I bought it. I think it was well worth it because I like games that make you think. On the other side, I like posting videos where I completely smash through stuff as Das Boom, but I like thinking. And I like the fact that games, when you look at it from a thinker's point of view, I guess you could put it. I forget what the actual name of it could be. Games are there to allow us to work through issues, to allow us to work through problems, to escape these frail shells that we have, take our pure mind and how we perceive ourselves, be able to place it into a virtual world and be able to interact with people as that without having our physical limitations. And this video is now going on 2 hours. Anyway, thank you for joining me here on this channel. My name is Das Broom. If you like what I am doing, please feel free to follow me here on Twitch or YouTube. And there will be many more videos coming out in the future because I am having fun. I like sharing my thoughts and my views on things. And if you disagree with it, feel free to let me know, whether it is a message, whether it is a comment on one of my videos. I do accept constructed criticism. But I also like learning new things. I like learning how different people think, how different people play games, because to me, I really hate judging other people based on my own perspective. I like learning other people's perspectives and how they see games and how they play games. I really like doing that. So anyway, thank you for joining me here on my channel. My name is Das Broom. As always, remember, it is okay to smash stuff and okay to get mad, but only in the game. Ciao!